Listen,
You.
they were staying on top. They weren't really allowing us to push the ball down the field. We called a few shot plays. Actually, one of them, they brought up pressure and just got to me. Otherwise, I think we have a big play. Otherwise, we wanted to establish the run against a very good run defense. We felt like that would open up opportunities in the passing game. I felt like, listen, there was plenty of room to be more efficient. We weren't as efficient in the passing game as I know we can be and as I want to be. But at the end of the day, we were the beneficiaries of good field position, from special teams, blocking a kick, making some plays, defense, turnovers. Great, that really, I think we felt like, man, we were always had the momentum every time we stepped on the field, which is a good feeling.
Next question is from Sean Pazand.
Hey, Drew, can you just describe what you saw on the 46-yard connection to Jared Cook in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, well, speaking of big plays, I think obviously defense comes out and gets the pick six to start off the second half, which was awesome. And then they respond and bring it back to 24-17. And so offensively, we had 2 3-and-outs, and we really hadn't managed that third quarter very well. So fourth quarter, we knew we needed an explosive play. We needed something just to get us going, and had the opportunity to check to a play that felt like had some down the field opportunities, and Jared got behind the defense, and we got a big play. A couple plays later, scored to Emmanuel Sanders, and obviously that was a big jump in that game. Going from 1 possession to 2 possessions, and that's when I think we felt like, man, we're just building on the lead here now.
Next question is from Doug Mouton.
Yeah, hey, Drew. Sean described his own play calling in this game as awful. That was his word. Did it feel out of sync to you for a big part of this game?
Well, if you ask me how I felt like I played, I'd probably say I played awful as well. So we're I guess that's we get to be our harshest critics, coming off this game. I know that there's certainly we are used to playing at a much higher level offensively, and I think especially in the passing game. So we'll get that back on track.
Next question is from Nick Underhill.
Sean was saying too that they were doing some stuff in coverage that maybe you guys weren't expecting, and they were doing more of it than you usually see from them. Can you just describe some of the stuff they were seeing that did make it a little bit harder to move the ball?
Yeah, they did some different stuff. And listen, Todd Bowles is a great defensive coordinator. You know that he's always going to have a very specific plan for you. And listen, they executed it very well. I think the best thing we did was, we took care of the football. We ran the ball well. We put together some long drives. We were only 3 of 6 in the red zone, which obviously you want to score touchdowns every time you get in the red zone, or at least be much more efficient than that. Third down was pretty pitiful. We can be a lot better there. But listen, we always know that regardless of what you see on film, you got to go out and you got to play the game. And defenses always seem to have a very specific plan for us, play us much different than maybe what they showed other people, just based on our personnel and everything else. So, man, we're constantly having to adjust on the fly. That's just what we do. And we definitely could have done a better job today with that.
Next question is from Christopher Donalds.
So Michael Thomas had one of his most quiet games as a member of the Saints. Was that a credit more to what the Bucs defense was doing, or was that something that you guys were game planning for, of maybe focusing more on the run game this week?
Well, I mean, listen, I think you definitely want to get him more targets and more opportunities. I missed him on a throw or two where we should have connected. But still overall, I think his target number was lower than it usually is. Didn't feel like there were a ton of opportunities, just based on, the way that we were, just kind of running the ball and doing some other things. So it just played out that way this time around.
Next question from Chris Hagan.
Drew, it seemed like on those first couple third downs, you targeted Jared Cook a good bit, and you were obviously successful with a number of them later in the game. Is that just a result of the chemistry growing between you guys and kind of carrying over from last year?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm so confident with Jared. I think he's a great matchup, regardless of who's on him. Obviously his size, speed, and his ability to separate. Typically if he's getting safety and linebacker matchups, that's good for us. Listen, with all of our personnel, you throw out personnel grouping with Traquan and Mike Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders and Alvin and Jared. I mean, it's like pick your poison. So, that's a good problem to have. But I think just again, overall, we can definitely be more efficient with the passing game.
Next question is from Ricardo Lecomte.
Hey, Drew, and speaking of that personnel, Alvin had 2 touchdowns for you guys. How important is it to giving you guys balance on offense? And at the same token, him getting that deal done and that's out of the way. I'm sure, that's a big relief for him. And you don't have to worry about, that pressing issue going into the season, correct?
Yeah. I mean, listen, we're football players, and we know what's at stake here. We know what we're trying to build and obviously accomplish. And so, at the end of the day, we understand that contracts are a part of the game, and it doesn't change the preparation, it doesn't change the mindset, but certainly it's good to know that that's done, signed, sealed, delivered, and so yeah, good.
Next question from Mike Triplett.
Hey, Drew, there was a lot of historic overtones for this game. You passed Brett Favre for career pass attempts, but also obviously you and Tom being in this game, the only 2 40-plus-year-olds to start a game. You now have the career edge on him. Any appreciation for any of that in this game, either before or now that it's over?
Yeah, I mean, listen, of course it's significant and it's unique. And I'd be lying to you if I said it didn't mean, a little bit more. Obviously I've got, so much love and respect for him and what he's been able to accomplish and obviously his journey and really both of our journeys. We played against each other in college, for goodness sakes, 1999. I'm sure there's some guys on our team that weren't born when that game happened. But, at the end of the day, I think, we would both pinch ourselves, if you told us back then that we'd have the opportunity to play, this long and be a part of so many great teams and so many great moments, historic moments. But nothing but respect for him. Obviously, they got a great team. We're going to have to worry about them later on in the year as well. But for now, it's nice to get that win.
Okay, last question from Elena Bergeron.
Hi, we saw a lot of different things from teams around the league leading into week 1 in the performances, both of the national anthem and the Black national anthem. What was the conversation like with this team about how you guys would approach it?
At the end of the day, obviously that's everybody's own personal decision. But what we were focused on and what we've been focused on as a team and as a group of leaders is how can we continue the social justice conversations, both within our locker room and around the country, and really utilizing the platform that we have to be a strong voice for those that don't have one. And so we've adopted the Say Her Name campaign, and we've got a bunch of great stuff that we're going to be rolling out throughout this season. So stay tuned for that, but we're really excited about that, and obviously the opportunity to be able to bring attention to and highlight so many issues, especially that face Black women.
Okay, we're all set. Thank you, Drew.
All right, guys. Thank you.